Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing this used Jeep Wagoneer Series 3. This has lost almost 50% of its value in just 2 short years. We'll go over everything in today's video. Before we get into this, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Doug Smith Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in American Fork. Maybe sometime with this used Wagoneer. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering this is a 5.7 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed. It puts out 392 horsepower and then 404 pound-feet of torque. Now, before I move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So I'm going to give you a quick refresh on the Wagoneer Series 3. This is the fully loaded Wagoneer. So you can see we've got really nice trim here on the front end of the vehicle. Kind of has that fancy look similar to the Grand Wagoneer. And then you got fancy wheels as wheel. Haha, see what I did there? But yeah, really nice looking setup. This also comes with the air suspension system. Nice painted fender flares. You can see Wagoneer there on the side. You got these fixed side steps. And I think that I've got enough space back here that I should be able to open up the hatch. Yeah, we should be more than fine. But yeah, power hatch, of course. I notice with the seats here in the rear, you can power down and up with the third row, and then with the second row, it's only down with the fold function. But yeah, I got this like nice thick carpeting here in the back. Close this hatch up. But yeah, it's a very large vehicle, lots of nice trim on the outside. I know a lot of people might not like the design, but in terms of what they've done with this, it's pretty darn fancy on the exterior. And then the interior continues that trend with the Series 3. So you've got like soft touch here, you can see down below. Very plasticky, but you know. Nice leather seats. And we'll actually push this forward. It should. Why is it? I guess I'll have to do it this way. Anyways, we've got a third row. Again, nice seats here in the back. It can easily fit adults there in the rear too, which is a really nice setup. Very large windows back there as well. And if we actually take a look at the second row here, you can move the seats backwards and forwards, lots of space. Got some vents here in the back. You can see we've got our own climate zone, heated seats, got a bunch of USB ports. Again, tons of luxury built into this thing. And that's not even to mention what happens up front. Things get crazier. So, again, lots of nice trim. We've got memory seats. Notice all the windows are automatic. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Look at these front seats. This is the definition of fancy pants. They are power adjustable as well. So is the steering wheel. It's also power adjustable. Got some nice grab handle to help out getting in. And the door actually makes a pretty nice sound when you close it. Full digital gauge cluster. This comes with a 360 camera system. Or no, this one's the regular one. This one doesn't have 360. You got to go with a package on it to get that, if I remember right. But it does have dual zone climate, heated and ventilated seats, up front heated steering wheel. On top of that, got this little cover here for the little charging area. Air suspension controls. You got all of your drive modes. Got a bunch of safety tech built in with this. Fancy dial shifter here, as well as the 4-wheel drive low. And then you guys can see here at the giant center console, got this little storage space up top. And then again, nice trim here on the dash with it. Nice trim all across. This one doesn't have a sunroof, but I think it's something that you could add if you want. Pricing wise, this was well over $70,000. I mean, these Series 3s were close to $80,000. And now, well, now this thing is going for about 45 grand. So it's almost half of original MSRP. This has just over 50,000 miles. It's 2 years old. 50% of the value lost. That is crazy. Let's take it out. Oh, let us set off in this Wagoneer Series 3. I will say, used Chrysler products have a particular smell that every single time I review one, I'm like reminded of it, and I'm like, yeah, man, I kind of miss that smell. I used to sell Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler back in the day. I say back in the day because it's been over 5 years since I left now. That's crazy. That's crazy. I have been I've been doing YouTube full time for longer than I did car sales. Weird world we live in. But yeah, this thing's pretty cool. The Hemi's got a nice rumble to it. They switched to an inline 6 after this year. It's kind of man, I wonder how much of like a middle finger that is to the engineers, because it's like, okay, we want you to build an all new vehicle. We're gonna have you engineer the vehicle to have this V8 in it, 2 V8s, right? 6.4 Hemi and the 5.7 Hemi. They're both tuned differently for this vehicle. And then they're like, and then corporate's like, okay, now we need you to switch the engines. I'd be like, what? I quit. No, it'd be a fun challenge. But yeah, seats are really comfortable. The one thing that I will note is that some people will be critical of like this trim on the dash, and then up here at the top, because it's not like the nice leather stuff, it's the synthetic stuff. But you'll probably note if you look, this is the stuff that's held up the best in the interior versus the stuff down below. It's still fine, but it just shows the wear a little bit more. It kind of gets like this, it's hard to explain, but like the smooth texture. It's kind of, the oils kind of like smooth everything out. The steering wheel's actually held up pretty well for I said it's closer to 60,000 miles, 58,000 miles. It's actually not too bad with the trim there. And then again, this stuff that people might be critical of, it seems like it holds up pretty well too. It's funny, the synthetic stuff is the stuff that holds up better over time, but it makes sense because it doesn't need as much care as, you know, if you have wood, real leather, right? That stuff, it requires some TLC, whereas the fake stuff, you can kind of do whatever you want and it still will do just fine. Man, this is always the world's longest light. There we go. Yeah, suspension's nice. So one thing that I do like about the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer is the air suspension. Now you can get that in, like, you know, Escalade has air suspension. I think Jeep does a slightly better job with the tuning of their suspension. And I think a big part of that is they've spent so much time trying to make suspension for off-roading, right, with like the Grand Cherokee Trailhawk, for example, that you got to focus a little bit more on comfort, this kind of stuff. But still, not as good as Land Rover. I think that the manufacturers that do air suspension should, I think all of them should buy a Land Rover, drive it, look at the airbags that those have, and take note, because yeah, they're just the best in the business when it comes to that. But this is a really good system. Man, that heated steering wheel is hot. Why will you not? I forgot how much lag this system has. There we go. Turning that off. Okay. Hemi power. Yeah, buddy. Ain't nothing but a peanut, right? So, it's a nice drive. It's got good power. It sounds good. Fuel economy, don't worry about it. I mean, come on, it's a full-size SUV with a V8. It's not gonna be the most economical, but it sounds great and it's smooth with the 8-speed. Really is a nice powertrain. And again, the suspension does a good job with soaking everything up. Having independent suspension, air suspension, the body doesn't move all that much when you go over stuff, so it leads to a more comfortable ride. I like it. It's nice. So to sum things up, Wagoneer, buy it used, not new. Because I mean, I get people want to have a new car, and they actually have some discounts on the new ones and all that stuff, but still, this is one of those cars where it's like you might as well just let the first person take the hit for you, because that's so much money. Let's just say, okay, the base MSRP is like low 70s. Let's just pretend like this was, after destinations, like 75, and now it's 45. $30,000 in 2 years. Think about what I could do so much stuff with $30,000. That is so much money. And so to just like lose that in depreciation. Crazy. I always think about that. Like how much money, sorry, we always gotta get another acceleration. But how much money we lose from the economy because of depreciation. Like, it's crazy. It is actually crazy. So let me know what you guys think about the Jeep Wagoneer Series 3 used. But boy oh boy, is this a cool used vehicle. I mean, you get a fancy luxury 3-row, sub $50,000. That ain't a bad gig. What are your thoughts?